Welcome to the Prison Positive Podcast, where transformation starts from the inside out. Here, we share real stories from community members and incarcerated and formerly incarcerated individuals who've discovered freedom through the power of positive decision-making.
Today's guest is a real sweet treat for all of us. A while back, I started watching YouTube videos, but specifically those that distill otherwise complex concepts into something as sweet and as simple as the GOGI Life tools. And that's when I stumbled upon the Life Explained videos. Well, I reached out to Hans, Wilhelm, and he is the creator of these videos. And I asked if he would share his concept or his beliefs and his theories and his perception of what it means to be internally free. So in this podcast, you're going to really love it because ultimate freedom is simplified. Please join us. I am so grateful, Hans, that you would give your time to our effort. And I cannot wait to share this with all our students that are in prisons and jails, and they are learning GOGI Life tools on tablets. So I'm grateful. I'm going to introduce you to Coach Carlson. She will probably go mute or disappear during our meeting, but she handles all our education for Edovo and the tablet. She does all our YouTube. She does our social media. And I really wanted her to meet with you because I'm so impressed with all your work and everything. I can't call it work. I'm so impressed with how you show up in the world. And I just wanted to make certain that Coach Carlson introduced herself. Coach Carlson, tell him what you do for GOGI.
Hi, Hans.
Hello.
Well, I've been with GOGI since 2009. I met Coach Carlson, that's me, Coach Taylor. Basically when she was running a pilot program at the LA County Jail, and I began to volunteer and saw how the tools that that GOGI shares were working in my life. So I really committed to volunteering on a regular basis and certified as a coach. And ever since then, I've done programming, I've done events, I've done just a little bit of everything. But right now, my background is in media and entertainment and digital content, things like that, for the past 20 years. So we've moved me into sort of helping GOGI with educational media initiatives. So we're creating a lot of online courses that are available to all of our students. They have tablets, so they're able to log onto their tablets and take our courses, our interactive courses, on a tablet-based learning platform within the.
Tell me, just one quick question from speaking about the prisoner. How big is the percentage of prisoners who do have actually access to the internet, like you say, tablets? Do they all have that now? I am not too familiar what the latest state is.
Yeah, it's just a secured platform within their institution, and I'm not sure, I don't know the technology behind it necessarily, but I do know that their tablets are really, they just house access to different applications that they can log on to and take courses or watch videos, and they can send secure messages and even emails that are approved, within the tablet-based platform. So right now, Edovo, the platform we use, I believe they have 1,400 or 1,500 prisons and jails signed up. And so really the possibilities are millions of people impacted by the content.
Badly.
Yeah. So it's very cool. I
Good
think
and bad, yeah.
Yeah. So millions of people can see it. So we're happy it's reaching more people, but then also our ability to keep up is, it can be difficult. But it's,
I looked at the Coach Taylor's a wonderful book there. I mean, the mini book, I just glanced at it to things. Yeah, I mean, it makes total sense, everything what I read there, and it's wonderful. And it just comes from your own experience, which I think is so important, that you actually had all these classes and you molded this whole program according to whatever feedback you got from the prisoners. And as I mentioned, I was sort of, 40 years ago, whatever, I was in Sing Sing for a few days and helped on the alternative violence program, which was quite an eye-opener for me. That's so I understand. I have some soft spot for anybody who is incarcerated because, as I think you mentioned in your introduction, in a way we are all incarcerated here. And there's so much similarity here. It's only that they are it's a different situation, and yet there's the same situation in so many ways.
So a couple of things. As I try to gather information, I find myself on YouTube watching videos that inspire and motivate me to think of things in a broader perspective or a wider perspective. I want to see the whole picture so I can figure out, where do I fit in this whole picture? I stumbled across the Life Explained videos, and
Hmm.
they were just so simple. I thought they're so like Gogi. Gogi is so simple.
Yeah,
It's like boss of my brain, duh. Belly
yeah,
breathing, duh. I mean, they're
yeah.
so simple that children love them. And to find out that you are an illustrator, that you've illustrated children's books, that all these videos are very illustrative, heavy, light illustrations, but really focusing on the visuals. I just thought, oh my gosh, he's got to talk to our students. He just has to. So right
Thank
away,
you.
I just signed up for your email, and then I got signed up for your newsletter, and I got an email back that says, I'm not going to be doing videos for a while. And I started to cry, but it's okay. There are 10 years worth of videos I get to watch. I sent you an email. I said, you've got to come on our podcast for the prisoners. Right away, within 5 minutes, you said, sure. And now it's not even a week has passed, and here you are. And I am so
Oh.
grateful.
I'm grateful to meet you because you have done all this incredible work for so many years. So let's share what comes up, and I'm excited. And yeah, it's a great opportunity to share. And what you say about my videos is, my teacher Gabriela always she said, God is in genius simplicity. It's not what the religions make it difficult. It's in simplicity. And that touches our heart. When you see something, oh, karma is just simple. No bad, no bad. Sowing and reaping, Christ spoke very simply about it. But anyway, yeah, it's all very simple. The thing is just difficult to bring it into our own life. The
Well,
laws are simple.
yes, the funny thing is we try to make it so difficult. We want it to be complex. So we'll sit and we'll read volumes of books and we'll go to all these workshops when all we have to sit down and just be with ourselves and love something. Whether it's love holding that cup of coffee that you're sipping, we don't have to be chasing the things we are. And I've learned that from the prisoners.
Yeah.
Sit in the cell on the in the 8-foot cell on the 2-inch mattress and just read a good book, write a nice letter, breathe, belly breathing. And that's why I love your videos so much. Today I watched 3 or 4 of the 10-year-old ones, and I'm going to continue to watch them because they remind me of the beauty of simplicity.
Yes.
Specifically, we have one tool called Ultimate Freedom. Ultimate Freedom in the series of 12 tools that prisoners made. Ultimate Freedom says being free is up to me. Service sets me free. I really want you to talk from your perspective, which is a Gogi perspective, but from your perspective, why is service so essential to freedom? What is freedom? What is service? And let's always bring it back down to love. So I want to turn it over to you to just tell us everything that you can in your beautiful, simple way.
Well, I want to thank you very much for the invitation, Coach Taylor, because I really am very impressed what you are doing, and I think there's a lot of similarity. And what we found together out, you found it through a prisoner, I found it out through my studies going within and reading all these books for the last 60 years. And I was fortunate enough to come into contact to a wonderful woman in Germany some 40 years ago who introduced me to very deep, profound spiritual laws, which I had never read or understood in such clarity and simplicity. And they were without any organization. There were no priests, no teachers, and so on, nothing to join, just only the information as she received it from the absolute reality. And I tried to apply them in my own life. And I saw real changes happening in my own life. I've done many other paths. I did the Course in Miracle, I did Edgar Casey, and so on. They're all very helpful tools. But this one really hit home because it was so easily and clearly to understand. And when we speak about service, which it took me a while to understand what service really means. And Christ explains it very clearly in his words. He says, the highest form of love is service. And to really understand that, the way I see it myself, I know that I am surrounded by my guardian spirit here right now, is helping me, hopefully not saying the wrong stuff. I have been the Christ in me. I am in God and God is in me. And I've got all these angelic forces around me. I do not believe in them. I know that they are there. And these forces the goal of these forces, the existence, the purpose of these forces is service, the highest form of love. God serves all of his creation. And in reverse, and everybody else serves everybody else. This is the highest form and the absolute reality where we live in harmony, in unity, in peace. And that is, I think, the cycle of love, to give, to love the highest evolved beings, give service to the lower evolved beings, and the lower evolved beings give service to the higher evolved beings. And the joy of existence is service. It sounds like dredging or difficult to give service to someone else. I'd rather serve myself than serving someone else. But I think Christ explains it very clearly. Whenever we give to something for someone else, we basically give to ourselves because we are all kind of connected. Like, take my hand. They're all connected. Each finger is another person. And if I help this finger, this person here on this finger, I basically help the whole hand, help myself. I can only basically give to myself because, in a way, I am in everyone else, and everybody else is in me. So there's only yes, a great oneness. So I never serve someone else in a way. I always serve myself in a way. So this form of service of being there and helping others is the highest form. It also helps us here in our life. Then when we are thinking of other people, or any animal can be as well, it doesn't have to be a human being, we are stop thinking from ourselves because 99% of our thoughts about ourselves, where do I sleep, where do I eat, where I've got fun, where I've got sex, etc. These are the thoughts which are running a lot in our mind. And how good am I? Compare myself with others. You know, the ego is all these games. But the moment we are really open to, I want to help those people, I want to do, suddenly it shifts. And suddenly we work from a much higher level because we are more authentic. We are more truly who we are. We are all made out of this eternal love. God is love, and unconditional, unlimited, all-inclusive, selfless love. And we are his children. Thus, we are also unconditional, unlimited, or selfless love. That is our true essence. And the more we connect with that, the more real we become. And that's why the service is such a gratifying thing. I remember Albert Schweitzer, who was a Nobel Prize winner. He opened a hospital in Africa for the very underprivileged people, helping them. And he got the Nobel Prize. And later on, when he retired, he visited schools and visited all the different children. And he spoke to the children and says, I don't know what you will become in your life, but I know one thing. Those of you who dedicate their life to service will be the happy ones. And I think that is a very powerful line because the moment we take away our attention from ourselves and for the benefit and service of others, we are our true and genuine happiness and joy is our true essence. And it comes out every time we do that. And I must be quite honest, I'm still have a long way to go from my selfish center to do the more thinking and helping other people. But I do in a little way, I do it in a very humble way. As you mentioned, I'm an author and illustrator for many years since I was, and I've done many, many books. But over the last 10, 15 years, I slowly faded out there and do now my videos, which are totally free and nothing to join, no commitments and so on. And sharing this information with other people has given me lots of joy, not only the feedback which I get, but also now I begin to understand the laws. What I do in my videos is basically I draw. So for instance, here the law of karma. You see somebody hit someone else, that gets stored in their body, in their soul, in the Akashic records which surround the planet, and most important, in the planets. And eventually, this karma comes back to us in this or next future lifetime, and then so we reap what we have sown. Something what Christ spoke very easily. We always reap what we sow. But when we see this visually, it makes so much sense. So by me doing this video, they helped me to understand these simple divine laws in a very simplistic way and clear way. So I benefit by being of service to others in my humble way. I benefit tremendously because now I'm deeply and more understand these teachings which come from the divine laws.
Here's a challenge. There will be more than 1 million people in prisons and jails that says, yep, as soon as I get out, I'm going to start a big nonprofit. I'm going to help the kids on the streets, and I'm going to get lots of money to do my big nonprofit. What are they missing? when they are lobbying their future service to a future and an organization and a big effort, what are they missing in the present that needs to happen for them?
I don't know, but it's lovely to have these thoughts. Reality very often makes it very difficult once they're on the other side, once they are out there. And they may see that not everybody is welcoming them immediately. Yes, join us and join us. There are not always so many jobs opening to serve in a selfless way. Just to persist and just to have this as a goal. It may not happen right away. I think that's the key, that you don't give up. It happens right away. And it's not, this is, I think, where the danger is when we look for the purpose in our life. A lot of people long, I want to serve. It doesn't, you don't have to be in prison, but I want to serve, I want to change the world. But a lot of that comes from our ego. We want to have approval from other people. Look how great I am. I always thought I'm so bad, I'm no good, I don't help, I'm not use. And when I come out, I want to really shine. I want to help everybody, and everybody will look up to me because I am such a great guy now. So the motivation can come from our ego. And there's nothing wrong with it as long as we recognize it and says, oh, what is the real reason why I want to serve? Do I really want to serve because I feel from my heart to heart that that person or that child is in a difficult situation? Or maybe what's the most wonderful thing is like mentoring, because I have been in that horrible spot. And now I want to make sure that at least one person goes a more positive life than what I have had. That sounds to me more comes from the deeper truly self. But if I come around that I want to change the world, I want to start a new organization, there's nothing wrong with it, but be sure that it doesn't come from your ego, because then you will have a lot of downfalls and it will be a struggle, because the ego wants struggle. Our higher self doesn't want struggle. It wants to help. And it's never in the question of numbers. It is one person only. We say, Gabriele gave a wonderful story. He says, some people only incarnate in this lifetime to give one single smile. And there was this one story, who was her name, I forgot her name, spiritual speaker. She speaks when there was this young girl, was sort of a teenager, and she was very sure she was going to commit suicide. She was so very depressed. And she said, on Thursday afternoon, I'm going to kill myself. She went to school in the morning, and after, on the way home, she was totally planned it all, clear in her mind. She was crossing the street, and there comes this SUV and suddenly brakes right in front of her. And she shocks and she looks up, and there the driver, a woman driver, with the broadest, warmest, happiest smile ever. And that went into her system and totally changed her. And she gave up on killing herself, because it was this smile what saved her life. We don't know how we impact other people. It can be the most simpler way, as long as it comes from love. So we don't have to make the big thing. We don't have to hit the headline. We don't have to become great politician, great mover and shaker. We can be there for one person, or sometimes even for one animal, because animals are also sensitive beings. So it's not the numbers. It is just, there is somebody whom I can be, my presence can be helpful. Just only the presence. We don't even have to speak to somebody who is mourning, and somebody has died, to be there. That's all which is required. And that, I think, is the thing when we think about wanting to serve once I'm out of the prison. Is it really coming from my ego, or is it coming from my heart?
My question is this: if they want to serve once they're out of prison, why are they not serving while in prison? And I think we go to the ego on that. Is that right?
I would think so. Well, yeah, it's a major shift, Coach Taylor, because suddenly you probably landed up in prison because it was not your prime focus in life. You were just for yourself, or whatever the reason is. Suddenly you have to make this major shift. You suddenly begin, so your wonderful teachings, that, hey, that is my real purpose. I really lived a rather superficial and fake life here until now, which brought me into this difficult situation. And now in prison, to make the shift is very, I should imagine, I haven't been there, but very difficult, because everybody knows me as being this strong, selfish person, and don't you dare to cross me. And suddenly I soften. It is possible, I'm sure, in your classes, when they feel safe amongst other people who also break up and become more soft and more open for their heart. but it is a major shift in the present environment. It may be easier when you enter outside the world and come into an environment where people don't know you really. But in the prison, you are playing probably so many personas still to survive. This is my little understanding of prison from the outside world. You are an expert on that one, but I can be very wrong on that one. But I think the survival motivation, which is the ego's survival, because the ego identifies with the body, we are eternal beings. Even if we get killed in the prison or anywhere else, we survive. We are always eternal beings. But the body is the ego is in identifying with our body. So our body survival in that difficult situation, I could imagine, is very, very strong. Does it make sense?
Yes, the ego and survival. Survival is I've got to stay alive. I've got to position myself this way or that way. Our
Yes.
encouragement to all of our students is be of service every day in
Yeah.
little ways. Maybe it's a smile to the correctional officer. Maybe it's making certain that when you leave the shower, you really do wipe it down nicely. Maybe it's getting off the phone a little earlier because someone standing in line behind you is having a really bad day. That regardless of your situation, there are many instances every day when you can be of service. Could that be something that every individual can integrate into their living experience, regardless of that ego and the pressure and the survival? Is it possible to be of service under the most difficult constraints?
I would think so. I would think this is possible. Yeah, you must be willing to take risks. The smile, taking a smile to the other, is you're taking a risk there. But take the risk. Life is full of chances. You have to take our chance sometimes. And then we find out it works. It's actually better. So I think if we are not afraid of taking risks, whether in prison or outside of prison, we will find out more of who we truly are. And I think your examples are excellent. Yeah, there are small little things we can do from day to day where we can be respectful to other people, of
So
other people.
when somebody is sentenced to life without parole or the death penalty or 25 years to life, or they're 17 and now they're doing 25 years in prison, the ego is there protecting them. It also then declares to them who they are. Well, and they get to a prison yard and they're told, well, you're going to die in here, so get comfortable. What
Mm.
is your recommendation? Certainly this life has chosen a path. They're on this path. What are the possibilities for somebody in an 8-foot cell on a 2-inch mattress with a metal desk that's about 2 feet wide? What can they do with their life if they've been told life without the possibility of parole, death sentence, 25 years plus, you're never getting out? How do you create a life worth living when everything around you is telling you otherwise?
Well, in a way, we are all living that way, whether
Yes,
in prison or out
yes,
prison.
yes.
There is no, nobody gets out alive. Well, a soul gets out alive. Yeah, we all live this. The only thing we don't know the day, and whilst they know more or less the time. That's where the big difference is. But I remember the words by Rumi, something like, whenever you are lonely, remind yourself that God has sent everyone else away so that it is only you and him. When we use this time to really create a dialogue with divinity, I would imagine that's what I would do if I would be prison, because it's very difficult for me to reimagine in the situations the people are the way you just described. It is very difficult because I have not even close anything. Although having been in prison as a volunteer, it's still very alien to me. But I would say the first thing, the only hope I would find there is within myself. And this is getting the most intense connection with divinity. It can be Christ, it can be God, big guardian spirit. I don't know. I would rather go to God, go right to the source, God and Christ, and create and become aware of this connection. And there are many, I'm sure you have got videos, there are many places in the books in the library which can help us maybe to create this more through meditation, to find this way in a way. This doesn't change anything in the outside world, but we slowly, the real world, the real life is in us. Christ always said the kingdom of God is not out there, it's in us. And when we truly go in ourselves, that's where all the riches are. That's where also the freedom is. Because we in the outside world are also living by restraints and rules and refinement and dogmas and so on, which can be as oppressive and painful as that while in a prison. So the only way out of this is, as you say, go in. The only way out is in. So the answer is here to go within. How I keep my mind and my soul peaceful in those 25 years when I know I cannot come out. I will be quite honest with you, Coach Taylor. I'm not in a situation, I cannot answer that. I just hope that I will have enough connection to divinity to help me in my prayers and in my meditations, and hopefully guidance from day to day of how I can be in a very small way of service to others, as you described it earlier, and find my satisfaction in those little points of service. But the moment, the fact that I am alone may be awful if I fight it. But if I see the aloneness as an invitation of divinity to come now close to me,
Could
it
you
may be very
repeat the
different.
Rumi quote again? Could you repeat it? I
Yeah,
don't want our students to miss that, because there are many times we get letters from individuals who are now in segregated housing. They're on ADSEG, so they're in a jail within a
yeah,
prison. So
yeah,
they have done something so bad inside the prison that now they're in another jail and they're writing out for help.
yeah.
Eventually they come to the belief that that alone time was necessary. Could you repeat that Rumi quote one more time?
Sure. It says, whenever you are lonely, remind yourself that God has sent everyone else away so that there is only you and him.
See, I love that, because when you are locked away in a dank cell with bricks and your mattress isn't a mattress at all, and maybe it's too cold or it's too hot and you don't get your shower till tomorrow and the food is terrible, really going in is the only way to get out.
There's no other way. There is no other
Yeah.
way because as long as we fight the outside situation, we are battling. But the question is also enough to surrender. The peace comes when we surrender. And since we can't do anything else, we surrender to the situation at the moment and we go within divinity, to God, and feel his presence in us and his love, because God is love. God is not condemning. Anybody who was brought up in a very religious kind of dogma says, God is punishing me because now I've done this awful thing and now I'm here. There is no such God who punishes us.
Tell me the difference between surrender and giving up. Because there are many of our students, I'm not going to give up, I'm not going to give up, I'm not going to give up. And that surrender is very different from giving up. What is the differentiation between the two?
The person who surrenders knows that he or she is an eternal being and created in the image of God. Never mind how ugly thing I've done, how ugly I look, what bad, everybody hates me. Fact remains that you are a loving child of God, and that nothing can change that. That your innermost being is unchangeable. That is a child of God. If we know that, if we feel that, if we have a connection to our true essence, then surrender is merely a temporary form of accepting what is. Giving up means I don't live after this death. I don't exist. Nothing is existing. So I give up. I might as well die now because I will do that in 25 years and then I'm nothing. So giving up is contrary to reality. That is the illusion of the ego. Our ego tells you, oh, you're just only the body. It's like telling you you're only your motor car. You're not the driver, you're the motor car. The motor car will eventually rust, die, have an accident, be gone, be thrown away. But the driver is eternal. And when we understand that, and this is not this is not religious preaching, this is spiritual fact. And every spiritual path says the same thing. We are children of God, we are divine, we are eternal. So that is our essence, and we are just having at the moment a lifetime of rough, what is 30,000 days, which is the average for most people here. And we have been here many, many times before because reincarnation is, in my understanding, a fact, which also explains why some people are rich, others are poor, others are sick, are healthy. And also why we have crime. Crime is very often a result of something we have sown in this or in previous lifetime. This is basically a balancing out of energies. Nothing else. It's not punishment. The world calls it punishment. When we put somebody in a prison, it is only our own impatience. We want to have this person put away, suffer, etc. That is society's thinking. But if somebody does something really bad, life will eventually catch up with that soul in this or next lifetime, and they will learn through the opposite. Somebody will hurt them, and they will gently learn that this is no way of doing. But because we are impatient, we put people away into prison and says you must suffer, etc. It's our not understanding of karma. If we would understand karma, we would know that eventually everybody is reap what they have sown, whether they are criminal or non-criminal, the positive as well as the negative. It's not only the negative.
So let's say that as a young 17-year-old boy, I was addicted to drugs, and let's say that I killed 2 people and I'm in prison.
Yeah.
Am I doomed? Can I do anything today to make the world better, to make my life better? Can I do anything today to balance out that harm that I once caused when I was addicted and young and stupid and in a gang? What can I do now as I sit in my cell thinking, wow, I hurt a lot of people. I stole, I cheated, I killed people. There's no hope. What hope is there for someone?
Well, I'm speaking here from the teachings I receive from Christ, and Christ is very specific about it. First of all, realize that even if the horrible things you may have done, I, Christ or God, love you, irrespective whether you are bad or not. My love does not change by your behavior. I love you as much as I love Mother Teresa. There is no difference between the love Christ has for me. And he says, if you have done something wrong to someone else, it is your duty to ask for forgiveness. The only way how we dissolve karma is through forgiveness. Either we forgive someone else who has hurt us, or we ask for forgiveness and we make amends if we can. Now, I've killed 2 people. How do I ask them for forgiveness? He says in his teaching, come to me in your prayer and ask that I contact the soul on the other side of that person, and I will speak for you. Do not connect directly with that soul, because that soul can attach himself to you. Be careful, because there are entities who can attach ourselves. And in prison, we have a lot of soul possession. So don't connect directly to that. Let me be the person, the being between the person you have killed and yourself. And I will soften, I cannot make them forgive you, but I can soften the heart of that soul. Now, that soul may be in the astral spheres or in the spiritual world, but also may have reincarnated again. So it doesn't matter where the person is, where the soul is. I will connect with that soul because I'm all present, and I will make sure, I will do my utmost for the soul to soften their heart. And that is very powerful. And that you just trust and leave it with Christ. You may want to do it once or twice again, but eventually you will just leave it, trust Christ. You know, I seriously feel terribly about what I did, and I ask for forgiveness. I hope that the other soul can forgive me. Leave it with Christ. Christ will sort that out as much as possible. So that's one way of, if we can't contact that person and if we have killed somebody, if the persons are still alive and we have done them some harm, there may be some ways through communication with letters, phone calls, or whatever, to ask for forgiveness as well. The freedom comes only when our misdeeds, our mistakes are forgiven or expiated. They are the 2 things, forgiven or expiated. Expiated means that somebody else with something similar to me, so then I experience the same thing, what I've done once to someone else. But otherwise, it is forgiveness. So my suggestion would be, according to the teachings that I have, to ask Christ to please help me to share, to pass ask for request for forgiveness onto the soul whom I have hurt, whom I have killed.
Hans, it all sounds to me like a big classroom, like
Yes,
school.
yes.
It
It's too
sounds
much.
like we're in school.
Well, life is a school here on planet Earth. I have a whole video on that one. This is the reason why we are here. Every moment, irrespective of whether you're in prison or not, but in prison, every moment we are basically re-experiencing what we have sown in the previous lifetime. The person who cuts me off in traffic, the person who is screwed on the phone, etc., are all instances which are now coming back from the planets to me. That's why astrology is somehow, there's truth in it. It comes back to me right now so that I can now either experience it or forgive it. So yes, we are here. It's a school. And nobody is here permanently. We are all not from this planet Earth. Planet Earth is a very unique planet because normally in the spiritual world, like attracts like. We are all together with a similar kind of vibration, people of same thinking, religion, etc. Here on planet Earth is a great mixture. We can be very high evolved beings and very low evolved beings, good and bad coming together. So we have a very intense classroom. All the students around me are intense teachers for myself. So you're absolutely right. This is a classroom. And this is a great opportunity. And Christ says, you are incarnating because in a very short time, you can undo your karma, which takes eons and eons in the spiritual world. That is the reason why millions or billions of people incarnate. And if we now look at the rate of people the population rate, until 125 years ago, the average population on the planet Earth was 1.5 billion. It has jumped to over 8 billion in a very short time, suddenly.
You think people want to be here? Souls
Right.
want to be here?
Those who are here have won the lottery. There are more billions of souls who want to incarnate right now, but they can't because there are not enough bodies. Everybody is incarnated, even in the prison. It is an opportunity to clear up as much as we can in this short time. And the souls know that before we incarnate, we always know the major things or chances which can happen into our life. Nobody comes here unprepared. And everybody incarnates on their free will. Nobody is forced to come to this planet, to this school. So we are all here. We're forgetting that we have chosen our parents. We have come here knowing exactly the difficult it will be. And we also have fully agreed to it because we all have the free will. It may be a bit much to grasp that when you always grew up thinking you are a victim, which is unfortunately also a prevalent thought of a lot of people. But we never, ever are a victim. We may get
Sounds to me
abused.
like anybody on this planet right now, we all won the lotto ticket.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. It's something we have to remember. It's a great chance. Look at that's why I mentioned the figures of England. The souls want to come here. Why do they come here? Because life on Earth becomes more challenging every day. Outside of the prison becomes more and more difficult with AI and the collapsing of various structures of politics, of etc., religions, etc. People will be more and more confused. Many will go through a very difficult time, whether it's in Gaza, whether it's in Ukraine or Sudan, but also it will spread over the continent. It will be a tough time, but in this tough time, I can undo my karma. It is done in a few years' time and I'm free. It's like I've served my prison terms and I'm out. I've done it. I can start a new life. That's why all these 8 billion souls are here. Plus, there are a few others who come here to help and serve.
I love that. I do hope that you join us again. Would you mind if I invited you back on to pick another
Anytime.
topic?
Coach Taylor, I would be delighted and I'm honored. And I want to thank you having the opportunity to share this with all your
Well, I
students.
think it's wonderful. In some parting words, our tool is ultimate freedom. Being free is up to me. Service sets me free. What advice do you have to the million GOGI students who are watching this who say, okay, well, what do I do? How do I do it? What is the jump off point? What's something they could do right now to actually
For
start
me,
living like that?
in prison or without prison, there is always something, even in prison, to be right now grateful for. Right now, whether you watch this video, whether you sit there, you have a body, you're not in a hospital, you are in a prison, it may be limited, but there is some freedom in there. And there's also a lot of freedom. Be away from the very hectic life out there. You have now time to rest, to think. I'm living on the East Coast of America. It is hectic. It is breathtaking. It is really stressful, stressful, stressful. These stresses you don't have in prison. You have got very different stresses and awful ones at times. But there is also something to be grateful for, that you are not in the survival mode, which here on the East Coast, virtually everybody is, with the high unemployment and so on. These are the few little things you don't have to worry about. So you can be grateful for all the things you may experience by being in prison, which sounds like nothing, but compared to the stresses outside, there may be something you like, enjoy, or that your body is still working, that you have maybe a friend, or you have got some, or you come into contact with GOGI here. So this is something wonderful to help you to become free and move forward. And remember always that you are never, ever, ever alone, that basically they are right next to you. All you have to do is to ask. They're not genies who says, I get you out of prison, but they are helping you to not go down the deep hill of self-pity, of victimhood, etc. They can stop you in this way of thinking. And you have got all these wonderful positive thinking tools which prevent us to go deep into this horrific feeling of self-pity.
I so appreciate our time together. I'm going to look at the calendar to see when we can get you back, because I know our students are just going to appreciate the simplicity. And maybe next time we have you on, maybe you can bring some of your illustrations to talk about one of the tools or so, like our belly breathing. Why is that important that the body get breath? Or what if I'm not my past? That's another one of our tools. I'd love your take on some of the other aspects of some of our other tools. And I so appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Coach Taylor. I really appreciate it. I'm honored to be here. And thank you again. I'm looking forward to our next meeting.
Absolutely. GOGI for life. And thank you so much, Hans.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to our Prism Positive podcast. I know that you will absolutely start going over to Life Explained videos and connect with Hans Wilhelm and watch his material. Watching his material actually reinforces the fact that GOGI tools, while simple, they still are very, very powerful. Thanks again for watching, and stay tuned. We've got more episodes coming up.
Thank you for tuning in to the Prism Positive podcast. If today's story inspired you, share it, subscribe, and help us spread the message that change is possible no matter where you wake up each day. You hold the power. You are the boss of your life. Lead with purpose and keep growing from the inside out. GOGI!